Naima Woodmon-Fidere, master from Romania. Yesterday we discussed about the notation, the pieces, how are they arranged, what's their value, and a little bit about how they move. Today we are continuing with the remaining pieces that we didn't manage to do last time, yesterday. And then after that, we are moving on to the smart captures, threads, and finally to checks. Okay. So we are going to revise some of the pieces in case you don't remember. So we are starting by seeing how the queen moves. So we are having the queen, it's quite into the middle of the board. And as I was saying yesterday, it moves exactly like a rook plus a bishop. So the rook, if we remember from yesterday, it moves on files, right? The vertical lines, and on ranks, the horizontal lines. And the bishop only moves on diagonal. Okay. So we can see that a queen moves on files and ranks, but as well it can go on diagonals, okay? And the value of a queen is 9 points. The queen is, after the king, the second strongest piece, okay? So it has 9 points assigned to it. And now let's do some puzzles. 1 second. So I can close some tabs. Okay. Okay, good. So we are doing with the queen very few puzzles. As you can see, the queen wants to capture the dinosaurs and the monster that is left. So let's see, we want to capture these dinosaurs in the fastest way possible, okay? So for denotation, we are using the letters and the numbers that you can see outside of the chessboard. First, we are starting by writing the letter and then the number, okay? Where do you want the queen to move first? Please make sure that you're writing directly to me so other students will get a chance to answer as well. Make sure that the queen can actually go on the square that you named, okay? Okay. If we draw how the queen can move, you can see that the queen can go all along on the D file, on the fourth rank, on the A1, but up until F6 diagonal, and from G1 to A7. So then the first dinosaur that we can capture is exactly on F6, right? So we are going to capture the one on F6. Now, normally the squares where the queen can go are changing. So let's see where next to try and capture The second dinosaur. Okay, so far all the answers are very good. So where can the queen go to capture the second one? So the queen cannot reach B1 yet, since it is not on this diagonal A1, H8. So right now we are going to capture the F1 dinosaur. And then the last one. Let's see if we can capture it in one move, or if we need more than one move to capture the dinosaur. Okay, very good. You can capture the last dinosaur in one move by bringing the queen to B1. From F1, it goes along the first rank to B1. Okay, great. Now we are having a lot of dinosaurs and monsters to capture. Let's see, where do you want to go first? Please make sure that you're writing directly to me and not to everyone, okay? You can press on the Zoom chat to whom you want to write, and there is King's Chess Academy, and you can write directly to me. Okay. Most of you said E2, so I guess we are going to capture the dinosaur from E2. Let's see. Now they changed their places, so what are we going to capture next? It doesn't matter if you want to capture a monster or a dinosaur. The order is not important. I think the order is not important. Let's see if it works to capture on C4. Even though here on the right side we are having this monster, but let's see. Yeah, it works. So we captured on C4. Now again, they change places. Let's see, what are we going to capture next? So the answers are divided between C8 and E4. So we can capture, let's say, on E4 because it keeps the queen closer to the center. And the queen is controlling more squares from the center. Okay, again, you have multiple options. Okay, let's capture on h4 this time, the dinosaur. Okay, now there are not so many options. Let's see what can we capture next. Okay, very good. We are capturing on diagonal the monster from g5. Let's see now what are we going to capture since we have plenty options. Okay, most of you said that we are going to capture along the fifth rank on the square. Okay, let's see now. Where are we going to move the queen? So we can try and plan to capture a lot of monsters. The more we attack, the better it will be, because we are for sure about to get one of them. It is similar to a double attack, where we are using one piece and attacking a lot of monsters and dinosaurs. The best square, I think, it will be a3. We are attacking 2 dinosaurs and 1 monster. The monster moved away, and what can we capture with the queen? The answers are again divided between capturing this dinosaur from the corner from a1 and the one from a7. We are going to capture the a1. Now the monster moved away 1 square. And we are going to capture the C1 since most of the answers are saying that. So we are capturing the C1 monster and none of the dinosaurs changed their place. So let's see where can we go next. We are going to A3. And from A3, where next? Okay, very good to A7. And from A7, we want to reach over here, which is D8. But in order to get to D8, we have to go to a square closer, right, to D8. We cannot reach D8 in one move. We need two moves for that. And we are going to go to D7 first. And then finally to D8. Okay. And now we are going to see, to revise how the knight moves. So then I need to so as we discussed yesterday, the knight moves into the shape of an L, right? It can move forward and backwards, and it can jump over pieces. So our knight is currently on the D4 square. He can go to C6, E6, F5, F3, E2, C2, B3, and B5. From the center, the knight can go, if the knight is in the center, it can go on 8 squares. If we are imagining a knight over here, then the knight is very restricted. It can go only to these 2 squares. So it's better to keep the knight in the center because it will be more active. It has more options, okay? Okay, so the knight moves into the shape of an L. 1 second. One of you asked me a question. I will answer in a moment. So as you can see, it is like an upside down L. And this one is a regular L. Write 2 squares down and 1 square to the right or to the left. A knight is worth 3 points, just like the bishop. Okay, so the knight moves into the shape of an L. It jumps over pieces, same color pieces or opponent's pieces, and it is worth 3 points. Okay. Now let's do some examples with the knight. So we did with queen. Yes, and we are doing with the knight. Again, the knight has the same purpose of capturing in the shape of an L all the monsters and dinosaurs. In this case, we only have dinosaurs, so you want to capture all of them as fast as possible. First, where is the knight going to jump so we can capture the first dinosaur? Take into consideration the knight is moving into the shape of an L, so it cannot reach, for example, F6, because the knight doesn't move on diagonal like this, okay? It doesn't do this. Can only jump, or if you want, he can hop, which is basically jumping. Okay, so indeed, the knight starting from c3 is going to move into the shape of an L and is going to capture the first dinosaur. Then, where is the knight going to move next to capture the second dinosaur? Indeed, it will go to f6. So it will capture the second dinosaur. And then let's see if we can capture the last one in one move. So indeed, let's see if we can get more answers on this. If not, I'm going to draw the arrow, let's say. Okay, so then again, it is going to move into the shape of an L, an upside down L. So it will capture the last dinosaur. Okay. And now the knight has to capture more dinosaurs than before. Let's see again in what order the knight will capture each one of them. Okay, so the knight will go to e7 again into the shape of an L to capture the first dinosaur. Very good. And then where next? Then indeed it goes to G6 again into the shape of an L to capture the second dinosaur. And then let's see if I can get more answers. So the knight will go on F4 again into the shape of an L to capture the third. And we are having two dinosaurs left to capture. It's already on F4, so where next it will go? Okay, we are waiting to see if we get more answers. Okay, so it will go into the shape of an L to capture the fourth dinosaur. And then for the last one, okay, enough answers, it will go to C1 again into the shape of an L to capture the last dinosaur. Okay. Now we are going to move on to see how the pawn moves. We are having this example. Already you can see that white is having two pawns. One has already moved from the starting position, right? As we established last time, that the starting position is on the second rank for white and on the seventh rank for black. So this pawn from B3 started from the B2 square and it was moved once. If we want to move the B3 pawn, it cannot go up until B5 two squares, it can only go to B4. Okay, so this pawn, because it has already been moved before, it can only move one square ahead. Okay. The other pawn, however, because it is still on the starting position, it can move two squares ahead in one move. Okay. So when it's in the starting position, it can move two squares ahead. When it has already been moved, it can move only one square ahead. Also, if you want to put the pawn back to the second rank, it won't let you, since the pawns cannot move backwards. Okay, and let's see as well, how does a pawn capture other pieces? Let's say that black is having two knights, one in front of the pawn and one on the diagonal compared to the pawn. The pawn cannot move forward to capture the knight because it is an illegal move. The pawn will always capture on diagonal, but again, only one square at the time. Okay? So the pawns will capture on diagonal only one square at a time. If this pawn from f2, this one, is going to reach f8, let's see what will happen. So I'm going to take the pawn all the way to f7, so we can move it to f8. Now, when the pawn reaches the last rank of our opponents of the black side, you can see you can promote the pawn into a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. You cannot promote a pawn into a second king or into a pawn. Okay, so you can choose what piece you want to promote out of these four: queen, rook, bishop, and knight. Okay, and now let's do some puzzles, but not with the knight, but with the pawn. So as we discussed, the pawn is capturing on diagonal. The pawn is capturing on diagonal. Then it promotes into a queen. And it captures the monster, okay? Okay, so let's see, how do you want to capture the dinosaurs? So the pawn is capturing on diagonal, okay? Again, in order to see the notation easier, I will mark it with red. Okay, so indeed, we are capturing on e3 first. Then where next? On diagonal. Okay, the pawn is capturing on diagonal. Okay, indeed, we are capturing the next dinosaur from d4. And now let's see the last one. Also, you have to remember as well that one pawn is worth 1 point. This makes the pawn the least valuable piece from the chessboard, okay? So it's only worth 1 point, 1 point for one pawn. Okay, and we are going to capture the last dinosaur from c5. Let's do another example of the pawn. Now, the pawn has to be next to the piece that he wants to capture, right? So where are we going to move the pawn? so we can bring it closer to the dinosaurs. It cannot capture the dinosaur yet because it is not close enough. Also, the pawns are only moving forward, and for capturing, it moves on diagonal. So it cannot move on diagonal without capturing anything. Okay, so we are going to move the pawn to d3. We are now closer to the dinosaurs. Let's see if we can capture them one by one. Okay, let's see if I can get more answers than the ones already there. We are going to capture first on e4, right? And then, where next? Okay, very good. We are going to capture to f5. And now for the last one, let's see if we can capture it in one move. Okay, that is right. We can capture the last dinosaur in one move. We are done with all of them. Okay, let's do this one as well. We are trying to promote the pawn. So, each pawn. So let's see. Where are we going to move the pawn so we can promote as soon as possible? Take into consideration the pawn doesn't promote here to h1. It has to go all the way to the last rank of our opponent, right? So to the 8th rank. As I was saying, the pawns are going to move forward, not backwards. Since the pawn is on the starting position, each one of them is in the starting position, they can move 2 squares at once. Okay. Then let's start with the B pawn. We are going to move it 4. And then let's try to continue with the same pawn until we finish, and then to move to another pawn. So let's take into consideration that we are continuing with the b pawn. So we are moving it to b5, and then yes, very good, to b6, and then yeah, that's right, to b7, and then finally we can promote the pawn, right? Into a queen, let's say. And now let's try to go for the trophy. Where shall we move the queen? We cannot capture it in one move, but we can get it in two moves. Okay, let's go to a8. And then where shall we go to capture the trophy, to get the trophy? Yes, that is right. Okay. Now let's move on to the next pawn. Again, doing the same thing. Now let's promote into a rook. And let's try by using a rook to capture the trophy. Since the rook moves in a different way. Okay, we can go either to e1 or to d8. Both are good. And then where next? Okay. Anyone else who didn't answer? Didn't write in the chat? Yeah, we're going to d1. And let's promote the last pawn. This time into a bishop. Because if we promote into a knight, we cannot capture the trophy. And let's see the route for the bishop so that we can win the trophy. Okay. That's right, we can go on g7. And then where next? Okay. 2h6 on diagonal again. The bishop anyway can only move on diagonal and on the same color as he is right now, right? So we are having a dark square bishop, so it will only move on the darker squares. Okay, yeah, first on g5 and then where next? Yes, that is right. On h4 and then yes, on g3 and then on h2. And last but not least, let's see if we can capture the trophy. Indeed, on g1. Okay, now we are going to move on to the king. So here we are having chessboard with only a white king. The white king can only move one square at a time in all directions, including backwards, but only one square. And it is worth infinite points, but we are going to say that it is worth 100 points. Okay, so it is definitely the most valuable piece, and it is the piece that we want to keep it safe, so that it won't get checkmated. Okay, you can only lose if your opponent checkmates your king. Therefore, if you have a safe king, you cannot lose. Okay, and now let's do some examples with the king as well. As you can see, the king moves one square at a time and captures all dinosaurs and monsters in. So then let's see, how are we going to capture the dinosaurs? Again, this is the notation, so it will be easier for you to write in the chat. Okay, so indeed, we are going to move the king first to e5. And then where next? To try and capture the next dinosaur. The king can only move one square at a time, okay? It cannot jump and it cannot move two squares at once. So the square that it will go, it is d6. And then to capture the last one, where do we have to go? Indeed, we have to go to c6. Okay, and let's do another one. We have to capture all of the 4 monsters. Let's see. In order to reach this one, who is on f3, we need two moves. We cannot do it in one move, okay? So where do we need to move the king first so that we are getting closer to the monster? Okay, so we are going to g2. Then they change their place. But we can still go to the same place that we wanted, right? To f3. And then let's go to e4. Let's go to e2. Now let's get closer. Now we are attacking two of them, so maybe we can capture one. Yes, we managed to capture one. And let's see. Where to go next? D2 or C2 or B2 are fine. Let's go to D2. Now, yeah, to D3. Now we want to get closer to both of the monsters left. Okay, yeah, 3, 4. And now which one you want to capture? Okay, yeah, let's capture the one on f5. And then we have to follow the last one. Yes, e5 or e6 are both correct. And now to capture the last one. Okay, we can capture the one from this side. Okay. And now let's move on to the smart captures, which means that we have to choose between capturing multiple, but we are capturing the most valuable. We can capture the knight or the queen, but the queen is the most, also we are capturing that. Okay? You have the rook. You have to choose between capturing the pawn and the black queen. Let's see what are you going to capture. The pawn or the queen? Which one has more value? More points? So the queen has 9 points and the pawn has 1 point. So we are going for the queen, right? Because it is more valuable. Okay, let's see again. You're having the rook and you want to capture the queen or the knight. Which one are you going to capture? The one that has more value. So the queen, as in the previous puzzle, has 9 and the knight has 3. So we are going to capture the queen. Okay. Let's see this one. In this case, we are having the bishop and we have to decide between capturing the rook and the knight. Which one do you think has more value, the knight or the rook? The rook has 5 and the knight has 3. So we are going to capture the rook. Okay. It got stuck. Okay. Okay, we are having the queen and you can capture the queen, the rook, or the knight. Which one are you choosing to capture? The one with the biggest value. Okay, very good. So the rook has 5, the knight has 3, the queen is 9. So we are going to capture the queen. Okay. Let's see which piece are we going to capture now. The queen or the rook using the bishop. Okay, very good. So the rook is 5, the queen is 9. So we are going to capture the queen. Ta-da! Okay. Here the white rook gets to capture the black rook, the knight, or the bishop. Which one are we going to capture? The rook, the knight, or the bishop? So the bishop and the knight are sharing the same value of 3, and the rook is 5. So then we are capturing the rook, right? Okay. The last one of this kind, we are having, this is just like the previous one. We are having the queen and you want to capture the rook, the bishop, or the knight. Indeed, we are capturing the rook. The rook is worth 5 points, and the bishop is worth 3, and the knight same 3 points. So we are capturing. Okay. We are moving on to the chapter of threats, where we are planning to attack something. For example, we are moving the rook to the white and attacking the target. One second. Where is our rook? Let's try the next one. Okay, finally, we can have the bishop. where to go with the bishop to capture all of the targets. You first need to get the bishop to attack the target, right? Yes, let's start with the closer target, the one on B. And we eliminated it, erased it. Now let's move on to the next one. We have five left. Indeed, probably to F3, we are going to get the one on D1. And where next? To attack some other target.
Scream.
In order to get the one from B1, we have to move where? To E4, right? And now we have 3 left. Let's see how are we going to get rid of all of them one by one. We can go on D5. Then from D5, where next? We can get the one from C8 by moving the bishop to E6. And then for the last one, where do we have to move? To D7 or F7, both are correct. Okay. And now let's move on to the checks, which means that we want to move to attack the opponent's king. So a check is when one of our pieces attacks the opponent. You need to move the rook and to attack the king. You can do it in one move. Move the rook where so we can attack the king. Very good. We can move the rook to c5. Let's see the next one. We are having the bishop. Where can we move the bishop to attack the black king? The white bishop needs to attack the black king. Okay, very good, to e4. Now you have to use the knight that moves into the shape of an L to attack the black king.
Nana, raise hand. How about raise hand?
Okay. We can indeed move the knight to e5 and attack the king. Now let's use the queen as well as the last puzzle to attack the king. Where shall we move the queen? To give the king a check, to attack the king. The king is on the f6 square, but we have to move the queen in such a way that the king will be in check. It will be under attack. So the queen will go on c6. It is not checkmate since the bishop can block, okay? But it is a check. Okay. Well, this was all for today, for today's class, the beginner group class. I hope you enjoyed the class. In the next weekend, as far as I know, there will be other teachers. So yeah, I hope you understood the concepts of how the pieces move, how to give a check, and that we would like to capture the more valuable pieces compared to the weaker ones. And yeah.
Okay. Anyone has questions? Go ahead, unmute and ask question if someone has any questions. Otherwise, hey Dilip, are you back?
Thank you for teaching us about chess.
Yeah, do practice.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody wants to talk? Anyone has a question? Or
I
are we
have a
good?
chessboard.
Okay.
Chessboard.
Do practice. Okay. All right. So we are going to create one WhatsApp group for all these people because sometimes we are getting late, right? We will communicate there and we will let everybody know if it is getting late by few minutes. You will know that there will be a message in that. If you are okay to join that group, please join. Okay. Otherwise, please practice. We'll meet next week. Okay. Thank you, Andrea.
Bye.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Srini garu.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Yeah.
Srini. And my apologies for the delayed start. Sorry for the inconvenience.
That's okay.
Thanks,
We
Srini,
have
for
to
taking care.
sometimes
Yeah.
technical issues. We have to. Okay. That's fine. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank
Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Goodbye.
Bye, Andrea.
Bye, Andrea.
Hi. మరి ఇంకేదైనా వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ అని